What's really going on behind Jungkook's sweet smile? Why couldn't he finally shut up and uncover something that even HYBE herself was trying to cover up? When secret footage of Taehyung at his best friend's house is spread, the ARMY world is in uproar. But Jungkook's reaction? It just makes us all ask, is it true that he defended Taehyung, or was there an old wound that finally exploded? Jungkook can't shut up. Finally uncover HYBE's big secret about Taehyung. What would you do if the person you trusted the most kept a secret that could destroy everything? This question may sound like part of the plot of a Korean drama full of tears and emotional conflicts. But in fact, this is not fiction. It's about Jungkook. It's about Taehyung. And most astonishingly, it's about HYBE, the agency that has always stood behind the magnificent BTS stage. Why does it feel like everything is falling apart? And why did Jungkook, the golden magne who had been known to be calm, suddenly break out in a confession that shook the K-pop industry? It all started with one seemingly simple incident: Taehyung's casual visit to a best friend's house. No camera. There is no official schedule. Just a Taehyung looking for comfort. But is that really all? Because just a few hours after he was there, a snippet of the video leaked to the public. No one knows who leaked it. But what is clear, what is seen in the recording is not just an ordinary chat between friends. There is an expression of tension. There was a sound that sounded as if muffled. And the most surprising thing, there was another person present at the place who was never mentioned before, a former trainee HYBE who used to be close to Taehyung Dan. He has a complicated history with Jungkook. The ARMY was divided. Someone is defending. Someone's attacking. But no one was prepared for the next surprise. Jungkook's confession. A live broadcast originally scheduled just to greet fans. Jungkook appeared agitated. Unlike usual, he looks like he's harboring something. And when a fan asked about Taehyung's video, everything changed. He fell silent.
Get down.
Then she said, "I've been holding this for too long." Instantly, the mood changes. Thousands of comments flooded the live. What does that mean? Does he know something? Is this about HYBE? And sure enough, within 5 minutes, the K-pop world exploded. Jungkook didn't mention names directly, but his words were wrenching. He talks about someone who is too often protected by the system, about manipulated truths, and about a friendship that feels like a trap. The sentence that most silenced everyone? I thought I was protecting him, but it turned out that I was being used. Everyone immediately pointed to one name, Taehyung. How can two people who are known as soulmates in BTS now seem to keep each other's goals? Is this just a misunderstanding? Or is there a big secret that HYBE has been hiding all this time? One of HYBE's former staffers, who now prefers to live outside Korea, gave an anonymous statement to an international media outlet. He mentioned that for more than a year, there was a complicated dynamic between Taehyung, Jungkook, and the management. He spoke of hidden agendas, forced solo projects, and even secret recordings that should never have been leaked. Is the recording at a friend's house one of them? And the question burns even more curiosity. Is it true that HYBE has always been more on Taehyung's side? Is Jungkook a victim of a system that is too busy protecting the perfect image of one of the public's favorite members? Is this why Jungkook can't shut up? However, if so, why does Taehyung still look so calm? Why didn't he provide any clarification? Or rather, that's the strategy? Let time clear its name while the storm hits Jungkook. All theories go wild when a famous fan site uploads a snippet of a message that is claimed to be from the staff of the house where Taehyung is staying. In the message, it says, "I think they were arguing about a song." But suddenly they're discussing the past, and there's Jungkook's name. What does that mean? What song made them fight? And why was Jungkook's name mentioned in that private conversation? A former choreographer who briefly worked with BTS during the map of the Seoul era also spoke out through his personal account. He said that Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship is often up and down, even reaching a critical point in 2021. But that time, all muted with sweet promises. Solo debuts will be divided equally, promotional projects will be balanced. But after the release of several of Taehyung's solo projects that stole global attention, Jungkook was seen less and less active, until he finally appeared with a song full of emotional wounds and the words, "painful truth." Now, ARMY is caught up in the biggest puzzle since BTS's hiatus era was announced. Is this the beginning of a split? Or is this just a difficult phase that will strengthen them? What is clear, HYBE did not remain silent. In a short, almost emotionless statement, they said, all members are entitled to their privacy and personal decisions. No policy violations were found, but the public reaction was much hotter than could be controlled. Trending Twitter is filled with hashtags like #Justice for Jungkook, #HYBE explain this, and the sharpest, #Team betrayed him. But there was one thing that couldn't be ignored. The look in Jungkook's eyes as he said, "Sorry, I've been silent for so long." That's not anger. That's not revenge. It was a wound. A wound from someone who feels betrayed, not by an enemy, but by someone he once considered home. Does this mean that Jungkook and Taehyung really can't go back to the way they were? Or is it that the two of them are working together to make a profit? Unanswered questions are growing. And most astonishingly, the original video at Taehyung's best friend's house is now gone from circulation. All the accounts that uploaded it mysteriously disappeared. Some say HYBE took legal action. But there are also those who believe that this is part of a darker scenario. What is hidden in the video? Ask the army. Why did Jungkook change after the video came out? Ask others. Now the world is waiting. Waiting for Taehyung's statement. Waiting for the next move from HYBE. But the most painful thing is to wait whether Jungkook will forgive or choose a path that is no longer together. Because in a world full of cameras, contracts, and grand stages, sometimes the hardest thing is to defend the truth that no one wants to hear. And maybe for the first time, Jungkook chose to speak out not for the sake of fans, not for the sake of image, but for his own sake. The question now is, who will listen to it? Dan, who would secretly wish him to remain silent. What really happens behind the scenes is never as simple as it seems on stage. To the world, Taehyung and Jungkook have always been icons of familiarity. Their chemistry never fails to make ARMY's heart melt. But what if reality is much more complicated? What if all this time we saw only those pieces that were deliberately shown and hid the most painful? A few days after Jungkook's confession rocked his live broadcast, cyberspace thundered again. An anonymous account claiming to be a former visual editor for BTS, promotional campaigns shared screenshots of HYBE's internal chat, which were then immediately deleted after going viral. In the capture, you can see an order from the boss, narrative control. Don't let Jungkook go too far. Focus the spotlight on Taehyung's next solo project. The sentence, although not yet officially verifiable, ignites even hotter coals. Does this mean HYBE is actively trying to silence Jungkook? Is his honest voice considered a threat, not part of transparency? Even more surprising, shortly after the post went viral, HYBE's official Twitter account posted a new statement. We believe in BTS being together as a family. Differences of opinion are natural and do not reflect divisions. But doesn't this statement sound like a passive defense? Why didn't you just say Jungkook's name? Why precisely obscure a problem that has already exploded into the public? And in Taehyung's silence, the public began to make noise. Some of ARMY's international fanbase began reopening archives of Taehyung and Jungkook's old interactions. They find little moments that were previously considered funny, now feel different. For example, when Taehyung looks away when Jungkook talks about trust. Or when Jungkook looks stiff in the behind-the-scenes of their unit shoot, when he's usually so cheerful when he's with Taehyung. Are these signs of an old crack that has finally broken through? Not stopping there, some fans in South Korea began to dig deeper into Taehyung's friend's house. They discover that the house not only belongs to his old best friend, but is also the temporary residence of a former HYBE production staffer, someone who supposedly knows a lot about the members' internal conflicts. And even more astonishingly, that person used to be Jungkook's personal vocal mentor before suddenly disappearing from BTS's project since 2022. Why did the man reappear? And why exactly when Taehyung was there? Is this a coincidence or part of something bigger? These questions did not stop coming, and the atmosphere among the army was now full of worry, anger, even despair. Some consider this just a cruel promotional strategy, creating controversy in order to make the upcoming solo project more crowded. But for many other ARMY, this is not a drama. This is a real wound. And that wound is most visible from the way Jungkook started deleting some of his old posts related to Taehyung. Yeah, right. In piercing silence, Jungkook slowly cleared his Instagram of traces of their moment together. Some might consider this a small step. But for the army that followed them from the beginning, this was like a farewell sign. That I S this the end of the Jungkook we know. But there is one moment that makes everything even more complicated. A few days after the deletion, Jungkook appeared in a brief interview for a Japanese program. At the end of the interview, when asked about his greatest strengths during his time as part of BTS, Jungkook looked at the camera and said, "In the past, I would have answered, they are. But now, my answer is different. My greatest strength is honesty." Instantly, the entire forum exploded. The sentence is not just an answer. It was a message, and the public knows who is meant by them. But still no word from Taehyung. She still appears in several photo shoots and promotions of her luxury brand, with a stunning smile and an almost unshakable aura. But the public knows it's no longer about visuals. It's about the heart, about relationships that may have crumbled, although there is no word to admit it. HYBE is now under tremendous pressure. The hashtag #SpeakUpHYBE began to resonate in different parts of the world. A global petition was started demanding that HYBE give an open explanation and let the members speak without a script. But can the public really win when dealing with such a large corporation? One source in the Korean entertainment industry stated that some major media outlets in Korea were actually ready to report the conflict openly, but were held back due to sponsorship pressure and long-term cooperation with HYBE. I asked the truth being held hostage. But in the midst of all this chaos, one fact begins to stick out and become a new highlight. Taehyung's reason for going to his best friend's house that night wasn't just for an ordinary reunion. Sources close to the friends' families revealed that there was a long discussion that night about a secret documentary project that included the emotional journey of several BTS members during the hiatus. And what is most surprising, the documentary was never officially approved by all the members. Does that mean the tape should never have existed? Did Taehyung agree to the project without Jungkook's knowledge? And if so, is this the betrayal Jungkook was referring to? It's no longer about one video, one night, or one comment. It's about lost trust. About a friendship that may have shifted into a strategy game. And most tragically, about two people who used to walk together, separated from the unspoken truth. Can they still be saved? Or are we all just witnessing the collapse of a brotherhood, slowly but surely? Did it all really start from that night's recording? Or is it that these coals have been embedded for a long time and are just waiting for one small spark to burn everything? As the world is still reeling from Jungkook's statements and Taehyung's cold demeanor, one name suddenly resurfaces from the past. Lee Hanole, former HYBE trainee, who used to be on the verge of debuting in a generation group before BTS, but mysteriously disappeared from the agency after just 2 years of training. Not many people know where he went, until finally his name was again mentioned in the underground forum by someone who claimed to be his contemporaries. But here's what's surprising. The night Taehyung was at his best friend's house, Lee Hanole was also present, and no one knows for sure what and why. But reportedly, Lee Hanole is making an independent documentary project about the dark side of the K-pop training industry and the friendships sacrificed for fame. A project that will obviously never be approved by HYBE, and the leaked footage, it was part of that documentary. Now it's all starting to show. Jungkook may not be angry because Taehyung just went to a friend's house, but because Taehyung, secretly, is involved in something that could open up old wounds that have been hidden not only for the sake of their good name, but for the survival of the bond as a family. The question is, why did Taehyung continue with the project? Do you feel like you have a story to share? Or is this a form of resistance to a system that has been reining it in for too long? Jungkook, in his follow-up broadcast a few days later, said something that made the atmosphere freeze. Again, we once made a promise. If there is one secret that can destroy us, we will keep it together. But if one of us decides to divulge it, then it means that he is ready to lose everything. The remark immediately sparked speculation. Does the secret have to do with their training period? With unhealthy dynamics in HYBE management? Or something more personal, about choice, about jealousy, about guilt? Armies around the world are now divided into many camps. There are those who defend Taehyung desperately, believing that he is just trying to tell the truth that should have been known to the public for a long time. They call it bold, vocal, and high-spirited art that no longer wants to be silenced. But there are also those who feel the hurt in Jungkook's heart and see this not as an ordinary betrayal, but the destruction of trust built since adolescence. They call it a silent sacrifice that is never given a place to speak. And in the midst of it all, one figure began to react quietly. Jimin. He didn't say anything directly, but he did post a short story on Instagram, a silhouette of two men standing with their backs to the light, with a small quote underneath. Not all wounds should be open to the world, for some wounds save us from greater destruction. The army was stunned. Is Jimin trying to defuse the situation? Or is he texting Taehyung or Jungkook? But the most emotional was not only the upload, but the news that followed shortly after. Jimin reportedly refused to appear in the unit photo shoot that was originally going to reunite him with Taehyung and Jungkook. The official reason, fatigue. But the fans are sure this is not just physical fatigue, this is emotional fatigue. And sure enough, the day after the news spread, someone from the production team leaked information that during the briefing session, Jimin had said softly, "If we were all in one room right now, I'm afraid I'd cry more than anyone." That sentence struck the hearts of the army like lightning. Because Jimin, the mediator, the unifier, the protector of the atmosphere, I no longer feel like I can be a crutch. Where are the other members? Namjoon chose silence. He is seen in a library in Switzerland, in the course of personal research. In a short vlog released 2 days later, he said only one thing that illustrates how deep this wound is. Sometimes love doesn't bring us together. Sometimes the truth separates us from the lie. Meanwhile, Jin, who has just returned from his military service, is seen at a dinner with HYBE staff. But from the gestures of his body, his gloomy face, and his blank gaze, everyone knew. He knows something. And he's holding her. A few days later, a senior reporter revealed that Jin actually knew about the documentary project long before the footage was leaked. He even asked Taehyung to cancel it, or at least ask permission first to all the members. But his request was ignored. Does this mean that Jin also feel betrayed? Or maybe he's just too tired to fight again. But of all the reactions, perhaps the most surprising came from Suga, usually calm, rational, and calculating. But on his radio broadcast in Japan, when asked if BTS would soon be back together in a unit project, he laughed bitterly and then said, When we can already talk without keeping a bomb under the table?" Nobody laughed. Even the announcers were silent. The words are not just sarcasm. It was a recognition that what was happening was not just a difference of opinion, but the Cold War, emotional warfare. And unfortunately, it is the army that now stands in the middle, divided and confused. Whose side to take? HYBE was increasingly highlighted. Several global petitions have crossed 2 million signatures, urging that the documentary project be halted and all footage involving BTS members without their consent withdrawn from circulation. But HYBE, as always, gives only passive statements. We are reviewing the internal processes related to the documentary project in question. There is no official release that we have announced to the public. But the world knows this is no longer just a project. This is a time bomb, and Jungkook, he is no longer active on social media. He only left one last message on the fan community platform in very simple but heartrending Korean. "I want to keep believing, but I also want to stop feeling stupid."